Hi everyone, thank you very much for joining me on this first making of. This is the making of La Llorona, the first song that I shared with you in this series or collection of videos that I will be sharing with you weekly. And as you know, as people say, first things first, and of course, the first thing first has to do with how how did I decide or how did I. Of course, I already knew or I had already heard La Llorona song. However, when I decided that I wanted to make something with this song is when I heard Ana Caridad Acosta singing this. In fact, the video that I am sharing with you on the screen is the video that I actually heard or watched and heard. And I remember that I was very impressed by the not only by the music, the guitarist or the guitar player is amazing, of course, but also if you look at this, there is a simplicity in the on the stage. There are flowers, what we call in Mexico veladoras. I mean, they are candles, but these special candles put into glasses are called veladoras in Mexico. Both of them are sitting. She's sitting with only a white screen at their backs, and it is a very simple stage. However, when you have artists of this size, I mean, the very important thing is what we can hear, and for that purpose, let me share with you just a small part of the video so that you can understand how I really fell in love with her version of La Llorona. Let's I will stop talking for a second and I'll be sharing with you a few just a few of this music. I would also like to call your attention to her face, her body language. Very, very simple hand movements, but you can see her really enjoying the music. And with all the talent that Ana Caridad has, she really, I was just telling you, not only enjoying the song, but she builds a complete masterpiece around it. Because I noticed, at least it may be difficult for some of you, as this is, of course, in Spanish, but the intonation of the words, how she's linking them, how she's playing with the sounds, she's building these crescendos and then minuendos, and then she's also emphasizing a word, and she's absolutely mastering her voice. And with that mastery of her voice, from my perspective, this is the best interpretation of La Llorona, and it is a live presentation, as you can see, because for those who have gone through our website and read some of the entries in the blog, I really believe that an artist is measured not only by what you hear on his recordings, but moreover when they are live recordings. That's when you can see what the singer or the artist can actually do when there is no tons of technology and engineers behind him covering the mistakes, doing the recording a thousand times until everything works to perfection. But these moments, the moment with Ana Caridad Acosta, is what it's unique for me. So once I had already fallen in love, that was the easy part. Falling in love is always easy. I believe some of you would agree with this comment. And the next thing was finding out, okay, so I like the music, so where am I going to get that music for the companion? And so, as I went searching for it in the internet, I found this version that I am going to share with you also on YouTube. You can see that this is a version of Mr. Hermelando Albiter. He's the guy playing the guitar, and we also call that the requinto. And his version of La Llorona with guitar was also absolutely a charm for me. So I'm going to play a part of it as well. And so that was the second easy part too, because there were more difficult things. As I was researching through the internet, and I found that I needed to choose what lyrics to actually sing. I found in the internet, because you can also find it in, well, that would be in Spanish, but there is a whole entry for La Llorona in Wikipedia for this song. But in fact, and I need to share with you those in Spanish as well, right? Since that's the language it was written. And let me share it with you. And let me put very quickly on the screen now that these are the lyrics of the song, and there are many verses. As you can see, the lyrics, I'm going to read it very quickly because underlined or in bold, you will find the ones that I chose for the version that I wanted to sing. And it goes like: Todos me dicen el negro llorona, negro pero cariñoso. Yo soy como el chile verde llorona, picante pero sabroso. Ay de mí llorona, llorona, llorona de azul celeste. Aunque la vida me cueste, llorona, no dejaré de quererte. Here I think that I would like to make a pause and share a little explanation with you. La Llorona is called, or is also known in the folklore of Mexico, as the Weeping Woman. There is a ghost story of this woman who was dead hundreds of years ago in Mexico. Now it's a ghost that you can see almost everywhere. That goes that appears at nights and yells something like "Ay, mis hijos," something like my children," and it is because the story tells that she killed her own children because of a love story and something that I will not go into deep detail. But what I wanted to share with you now is that even though the name of La Llorona is the weeping woman, it doesn't seem to be related to this ghost story. In fact, it looks a lot more like a love song. Of course, I cannot translate everything in here, but the story and the tone of the music and the intention of it for me is a love story. For example, he in here he says that if he could reach the sky, he would bring the stars to her. I mean, this really doesn't sound like a ghost story, right? And also he talks about asking her to take him to the river to take care of him, that he doesn't want to freeze to death. And there are many very beautiful nice things, very beautiful things here. And that would also make the second easy part. I told you how I fell in love with the song thanks to Ana Caridad de Costa. I told you how I found this guitar accompaniment that I really enjoyed. And now I am sharing with you how I found the lyrics and had to choose, because it is very very long, and since there is 1,000, and I think I am exaggerating, but there is maybe hundreds of versions of these songs, and you can see the lyrics goes like forever. So I had to choose my own. I chose the ones, and now the real challenge arrives. And the real challenge here is: how do you sing a song, a very well-known song, a folklore song, without really sounding like too operatic? You know, the impostation required for opera singers makes their voices too loud. I mean, there are also very, very nice voices. Mine is not one of them, but there are many singers who have a very beautiful lyric voice. But there are those who were not gifted with that nice voice. So how do you bring this type of voice to a folklore song. My first, or well, I had several thoughts around it. One of them is that I really didn't want this to be sung in a full voice because like I remember that my first approach to this phrase, here, ay de mí, llorona, llorona, llorona de azul celeste, I was thinking like, ay de mí, llorona, llorona. And this was like, I told myself, this is like too much voice. Then I thought, since he's already like almost crying, why doesn't he say something like, ay de mí, llorona, llorona, llorona de azul celeste. And I also found in this phrase that I give bringing you this example, not only that, ay de mí, I also found that the three times that he says llorona, 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 even though in the score it looks pretty much the same, and I think that this is a very good time that I should be sharing with you the score of this song because it is also very very lovely. And let me make a pause there. Finding scores for Mexican songs is close to impossible. This one that is a folklore song is even more complicated. And now that I think I can share with you, I am looking for the. Yeah, this is exactly what I was looking for. Look at this. This is the score that I took for the point of the part. I was sharing with you this phrase that says like, ay de mí, llorona, llorona, llorona de azul celeste. The easy part is where they tell you what notes you need to sing or to play. And I say the easy parts because it does not tell you anything about the intention. So it is for the singer or the interpreter to find out what the exact, or maybe not the exact, but what would be your own understanding of what this phrase means. So I was wondering, and it happened to me all along the song, how do you say, ay de mí, llorona, llorona, llorona de azul celeste? Ay de mí, llorona, llorona, llorona de azul celeste. And I also wanted to link Llorona, Llorona, Llorona as if it was only one word, because I also thought of what would happen if you said ay de mi Llorona, then you make a very small pause and you say Llorona, Llorona, Llorona de azul celeste. You see, you are giving the time for each of the times you say Llorona. And I really had many thoughts about what is better, Llorona, 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 or Llorona, 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 because the effects of doing it differently are, well, of course it resides on the thoughts of the singer, but it will also reside eventually on the thoughts of the people who will be listening to it. So with that in mind, that's when I thought that I needed to do something like, well, why don't you play it differently, or why don't you do it differently two times? One time with Llorona, 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 with the pauses, or why don't you do it and then do a second version of Llorona, 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 like trying to play with it as if it was a single word. And I really don't want to bore you around all these details, but I really thought that I needed to explain you a little about my rationale or my thoughts or my impressions on how this has to be sung. Also, I started this part of the conversation telling you that my first thoughts were that we didn't really need an operatic voice going full volume, full intention, full high notes, full everything, because it would lose its sense of folklore song. And then, with that in mind, what I then first thought was if it is not going to be sung with a full operatic voice, with full impostation. Then if I need to let go or lose the impostation, I would need to play some of these phrases, like I will use the expression like letting go. And for some of you who have heard my rendition of this song, and I would like to insist that it is not about the singer, in this case me, but it has to do with the song. What I found with this music is that each starting of the groups of phrases needed to be sung almost like declamato. More than sung, more like declamato, quasi parlato. Those were my thoughts. So, with that in mind, I told myself, instead of singing properly, todos me dicen el negro, llorona, negro, pero cariñoso, I was thinking it has to be like declamato, like todos me dicen el negro, llorona, negro, pero cariñoso. And I believe, I am pretty sure that many of you will not agree with my interpretation of the opening phrases or each of the timings of the song. And I am not looking for everyone to agree. What I'm looking for is for sharing what my thoughts were when I built this version of the song. I hope you will enjoy, or you have enjoyed, the music. I believe it's one of the most beautiful songs that having written in Mexico. Mexico, as many countries, has 1,000 songs. But going back to that comment, I really hope you enjoyed me sharing with you what my thoughts were behind the La Llorona rendition. Also, and I think that for closing this first video on the making of, you will realize that there is a lot of noise around it, and there's a lot of noise around it because I chose to go for this first version of the video to have the music live, or well, have the music playing on the speaker, had the microphone there, and the beautiful video that you can see. I am actually there. Me, I am facing the sound of the waves, so I have a very hard time trying to listen into the music, but I have to put the mic on a direction that I could keep most of the sound of the waves away. Of course, listening to the sounds of the waves in the background is amazing as well, but there was a fight in the volume of the waves, the level of the sound and the level of my music. So most of you may have noticed that the level of the music is very, very high. But then I had to decide that if I went full voice, it would sound like very operatic voice, sorry. And it would lose the sense of almost whispering and suffering. And I was just sharing with you parlato quasi, or declamato quasi parlato. So I'm not 100% satisfied with the balance of the volume of the background of the waves, the level of the sound, and the level of the music that from my perspective is too loud. But I didn't want to mess with it and change everything. Because I also wanted to share with you that singing live face to the sea and with the volume of the surroundings can be very difficult, but also I think it captures the magic of this moment. I am pretty sure that I will build a second version of the song, but this being the first one, I think that will do. Thanks everyone for having joined with me on this video. And I hope we will meet sometime soon. Bye bye.